Right there, as you guys can see, that's what we call a typical example of fair value gap at its finest. And what I mean by fair value gap at its finest is that before price drove all the way down there, if you guys remember, I pointed out something in the early part of the setup on this particular trade we are currently on. I pointed out an important gap here. As you guys can see, you see there the one tagged small gap. You see there, small gap or resistance bound. You see how that small gap has kept us there for a while now. Just because of that gap, ideally this price would have been a one-way run down to our TP, but you can see just by the by this fair value gap here, by this small gap here, it has been a resistance. So this is a typical example of gap being a resistance. And you know the irony of it all, if price manages to trade below this gap, I say, this gap automatically will turn to what? Resistance to the bulls. Right now it is resistance to the bear because I am a bear today, right? As you guys can see, I am aiming to short this market all the way down here, which is where my TP is at. But just because of the existence of this small gap here, we've been experiencing resistance in trying to get price to go below it. All right, so I just took out time to get a recording of this live streaming section because I'm currently on the live streaming section on FX Adventure. This cutout that you are most likely watching is a cutout from the live streaming section. So we are currently taking this trade live on the live streaming section. If you go on the XNS, that is it there. That's the trade there. All right. If you also go on the funded next, where I have my account, my challenge account, you can see I have the trade still running there. All right, so just by the existence of this gap on the paths that we want to go to, what I now did was immediately we went and we are now experiencing some level of resistance here. What I did, which is to save myself from any more loss in this particular entry or this particular setup or trade you're currently looking at, is you can see at the bottom of the screen there, I have it boldly written, stop loss is now on break even. It means that I've moved my stop loss all the way from that top there to the entry point. All right, so if price goes against me now, the worst case scenario on this trade is I will not win anything. We are not going to get any profit, but the good part of it is we are not going to lose anything either. All right, so two things I want you guys to pick out from this video is, one, proper risk management based off on what price is throwing at you in real time. All right, with that said, that doesn't mean that there is high chances that price might come up, stop us out at on break even, and still go to our direction. Of course, this is not the first time we've had that experience, neither will it be the last time we are ever going to get that kind of experience. All right, but the good thing I want you guys to know is when you have a plan and you have a strategy, stick to it. And in this case, my plan is I don't want to lose anything. All right, since I can see some level of resistance here, all I can do is to save myself from any hazardous event that would make me to lose money. There is this saying that I love so much about trading. They say, I don't know who has that statement, but it says, being profitable is based on how much money do you make when you are right, and how much do you lose when you are wrong. So in a situation whereby you're right and your trade is moving fine, you let the profit run. But in a situation whereby you find yourself that there are some resistance or price is trying to go against you, depending on your strategy, depending on your risk tolerance, you can decide to make any decision you want to make. But in this case, my risk tolerance will not allow me to still be holding this position with my stop loss all the way at the initial stop loss point. I feel like this price has driven down enough, and I feel like at the level that we are currently in this price, that we should be going down towards the TP. And I think we've extended enough that if there is any reversal here, there is high chances that they might reverse it in order to take out the liquidity they already kept at the top. Okay, so like I said, breaking even doesn't mean it's the best option. I'm only breaking even because of my risk tolerance. I'm only breaking even because I see for a fact that price, in as much as we have a very small gap there, price keeps on rejecting that gap. We've had how many attempts right now to go below that gap? Let's count it. The first attempt came into that gap, got rejected. Since that time, we've had how many candles printed on this 5-minute time frame? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Currently, we are in the 6th candle. So we have 5 candles already printed, and yet price is yet to trade below that gap. And if we are taking it based on the power of relativity, you would see the relative strength it took time to come towards that trend, towards that small gap there, is enough to break it on the second attempt. We shouldn't be still trading above it on the 6th attempt, which means there is high chances that this gap might hold. And in a situation whereby this gap holds, you will not end up taking loss for nothing. So for me, based on my risk tolerance and based on calculated power of relativity, based on the momentum price used in coming down here, I don't expect them to experience much resistance here, because first of all, that gap is small. Secondly, the momentum by which price initially used in coming towards that gap. So I believe that the relativity force that the bears used in coming down there should be enough to take us beyond this gap. But you can see that since price came down there, we've been experiencing resistance. So I took out time to make this short clip out of this live streaming section to show you guys how you can see what price is showing you in real time and how you can react and adjust yourself properly based off on your risk tolerance. All right, so this is my own take on this particular trade here, and don't think I'm selling you guys BS. If I click on this right now, what do you see there? That's my stop loss. What do you see there? You see there is no more risk there because I have the stop loss and the entry point. You see there, no more risk. So if price goes against me now, worst case scenario, like I already pointed out, is price will come up into my entry, stop me out, and maybe reverse back and go. I've seen that happen countless of times. This is not the first time, and trust me, it will not be the last time it will ever happen. But at the same time, I've also seen a market condition where price just dropped and dropped seamlessly, and that's the kind of setup, or that's the kind of price that I would want to trade. And in a situation whereby what you expect and your plan doesn't align with the market, don't feel bad about it. You should feel good about it because you managed to stay within your strategy, which makes you disciplined and which preps you and makes your psyche or your psychology towards trading more better, because it means you're grounded in what your initial plan is and you're ready to execute it regardless of whatever condition you find yourself in the market. In this situation, we'll find ourselves in a very tight spot, and you can see that resistance is coming in, and you can see that the bulls are gradually trying to take the market back again. With this said, guys, this is it. I'm going to make a video when we reach the TP if we manage to, but if you don't see a continuation video, it means that price stopped us out on break even. And do you know the good thing about break even trades? it makes you more relaxed. It makes you more relaxed, and all the anxiety and everything is taken away from you. All right, you see it here. This one is the one I have on my funded account, right? This is one I have in my funded account. You can see where my stop loss is. My stop loss is exactly at the entry point. I'm even making more adjustments to make sure it's, you know, just around the right place I would want it to be. So that's that about that, my people. With that said, hope you guys do enjoy the content we make here every day. Remember to subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and if you like the content, like, share with your family, friends, well wishers. With that, I bring this short tutorial from the live streaming section to a close and look forward for the profit video. Thank you. Remain blessed. Bye bye for now.